Tiring business, isn't it? All this traveling and adventuring. Why don't we take a little break, Allow ourselves a few moments of rest? Gives me a chance to talk to you about something, well, rather important. We've been on the road together for a while now, haven't we? Survived some perils, overcame some obstacles. Ever since you were kind enough to free me from that stone, I've seen you demonstrate remarkable guile and courage. The way we diffused the tension between Zevlor and Aradin. The way you stood in front of a crossbow to prevent a murder. In short, I've grown to trust you. The reason I make a point of saying this is that I've grown confident enough to tell you something I've yet to tell another living soul, except for my cat. You see, I have this condition. Very different from the parasite we share, but just as deadly. The specifics are rather personal, but suffice it to say that it is a malady I've learned to live with, though not without some effort. What it comes down to is this. Every so often, I need to get my hands on a powerful magical item and absorb the weave inside. I can say no more on the matter. Not now, anyway. Just trust me when I say it's all of vital importance. It's been days since I last consumed an artifact, since before we were abducted. It's only a matter of time before my craving returns. That is why I turn to you. I need you to help me find magic items to consume. It is vital. Dare I say it? Critical. You have my thanks. And fear not. Your implicit trust is well placed and will be rewarded with any and all means at my disposal. I'm sure we won't have to look very far to find what I need. Faerun overflows with magic-infused treasure. I know the allure magic artifacts hold. I understand their value and their power. All this to say, I understand the sacrifice I ask of you. But if I may be so bold, it's for a very good cause indeed. I hope I can count on you. As you wish. We've been on the road together for a while now, haven't we? What? No rest for the dashing? Pish posh. In short, I've grown to trust you. I was being quite sincere, I assure you. The reason I make a point of saying this is that I've grown to trust you. Be that as it may, my trust is yours. The reason I make a point of saying this is that I've grown... No, nothing like that. Though if I fail to treat it, then the consequences would not be contained to me alone. What it comes down to is this. No. It cannot be cured. And I assure you I've left no page unturned in reaching that conclusion. I can keep this condition under control, as indeed I've done for a significant amount of time, but that was under different circumstances altogether. Home, in Waterdeep. What it comes down to is this. I am what I am. I never lied to you. I've merely been economical with the truth. The specifics are rather personal, but suffice it to say that it is a malady I've learned to live with, though not without some effort. What it comes down to is this. Oh, staffs, tomes, cowls, the form doesn't matter, so long as it's brimming with weave. It's been days since I last consumed an artifact, since before we were abducted. It's only a matter of time before my craving returns. That is why I turn to you. I need you to help me find magic items to consume. It is vital. Dare I say it? Critical. Trust me when I say, the loss of the occasional wizard staff or tome of enchantment is a bargain given the cost of allowing me to deteriorate. It's been days since I last... I'll spare you the finer details, but begins with a simple biological deterioration, muscle spasms, disorientation, a slight ringing in the ears, and, if left for too long, catastrophe. It's been days since I last... No, it's nothing like that. Magic isn't a narcotic to me, it's quite literally a lifesaver. I would not burden anyone other than myself with this were the stakes not so high, and the means of obtaining such artifacts challenging for a humble wizard to face alone. Vital, dare I say it? Critical. As luck would have it, Faerun is full of them, though I do feel obliged to point out that items of power tend to be in the hands of the powerful. There'll be danger involved, or great cost. A fair point. However, until recently, I was able to rely on a supply of artifacts stored in my tower in Waterdeep. A supply that has now run dry. The reality of the matter is that a lone wizard with a chronic impairment such as my own is not in the most ideal of situations with regards to self-defense. The manner of artifacts I need are not often found waiting patiently on a shopkeep's shelf. One usually has to lift them delicately from trap-filled tombs or prise them from the hands of violent ne'er-do-wells. There'll be danger involved. Please. I've better things to do with my time than hoodwink gullible adventurers out of their trinkets. I know that what I ask may seem unreasonable, but I promise I only make such a request because it is so incredibly important. Please, trust me. Your help could be the difference between life and death. There'll be danger involved, or great cost. Splendid. Bit of boldness will serve us well. I'm sure we won't have to look very far to find what I... Valid question. If not out of the simple goodness of your heart, then perhaps your own self-interest might be sufficient motivation. Having a wizard like me around is quite the boon when facing the perils that stalk these lands. It'd be far harder for me to assist you if I could barely stand upright. Please. I know that what I ask may seem unreasonable, but I promise I only make such a request because it is so incredibly important. Please. Then I suggest you look closer. Having a wizard like me around is quite the boon. I understand that I am asking for a lot, but I can't tell you everything. Not yet, anyway. Please, reconsider. Very well. You're clearly in no mood to be receptive to my request at present. Take whatever time you need to consider. I hope, when the reality of my condition sets in, you may yet be convinced to change your mind. I'm afraid that's not going to work on me. Look, I appreciate your curiosity, but don't pursue this path. Let's agree on actions first and explanations later. Yes? I understand that I am asking for a lot, but I can't tell you everything. Not yet, anyway. Please, reconsider. No. Very well. You're clearly in no mood to be receptive.
You become one with Gale's mind, and you can feel something sinister oppressing you. It's inside of you. A mighty darkness radiating from your chest. You could try to push further, but your hold over Gale feels brittle. It won't be easy delving deeper without him noticing.
What are you... You're using the tadpole against me? You had no right. None at all. I've a good mind to turn around and depart this little company of ours immediately. I'd rather be alone than spend another moment in the presence of someone inclined to such unjustified invasions of privacy. The need remains debatable, but I recognize your responsibility. Perhaps my reaction was a tad volatile, the irony of which is not lost on me, though it needs remain so on you for the time being. I hope that the glimpse you caught of my condition convinced you of the urgency in treating it. Can I count on you to give me the artifacts I need? Thank you. I see my trust in you was not misplaced. I'm sure we won't have to look very far to find what I need. Faerun overflows with magic-infused treasure. I know the allure magic artifacts hold. I understand their value and their power. All this to say, I understand the sacrifice I ask of you. But if I may be so bold, it's for a very good cause indeed. I hope I can count on you. Oh, and as far as that tadpole trickery goes, I really do trust you'll not be so untoward again. I have to admit, you're right about that. Perhaps my reaction was a tad volatile. That is a lie, and you know it. This is where we part ways. I am a fool. A fool to have trusted you. This is where we part ways. Such unjustified invasions of privacy. So be it. This is where we part ways. We've already done the finding. In fact, you have one in your possession. You know for yourself how hard won such an item was, and it will be no easier when even more are required to assuage my hunger. Faerun overflows with magic-infused treasure. As do our packs, as a matter of fact. We've such an item already in our possession, primed for the moment the need arises. I hope I can count on you. Spare me a moment, if you please. I've something important to discuss with you. We've been traveling together for a while now, and it's just about time that I shared something with you. It's a rather personal matter that I'd have preferred to keep quiet, but needs must when the devil drives. I have no choice but to speak. You see, I have this condition. It's been days since I last consumed an artifact, since before we were abducted. It is time. And by that, I mean it's imperative that I find and consume strands of weave at the earliest possible juncture. As luck would have it, you're already primed to give me exactly what I need. I see. Let me remind you that this is not something that can be ignored forever. Artifacts are of little use if you don't live to enjoy them. Let's agree on actions first, and explanations later. Yes? I understand that I am asking for a lot, but I can't tell you everything. Not yet, anyway. Please, reconsider. No. I don't know how else I can explain the imperative nature of this issue. You can't simply dismiss it. I see. Let me remind you that this is not something that can be ignored forever. Artifacts are of little use if you don't live to enjoy them. You're already primed to give me exactly what I need. Of course. I would hate for you to think me impatient or ungrateful. I shall persevere, for now. I see. Let me remind you... I'll have to speak slowly. I'm finding it quite difficult to concentrate with my condition gnawing at my insides like a teething displacer kitten.